We're doing lead generation, right?
Yeah, lead generation and, how that looks like when you're running Facebook ads through command.
Are you doing this today?
I'm debating.
Lead generation, Facebook and Instagram.
Really?
Yesterday was so fun.
Wasn't it?
It was so fun.
Literally, what happened yesterday?
You know what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
You told us about your tattoo.
Oh, that was just a conversation starter.
It certainly was.
Hey, it's a pimp dog.
Part of this, I need to log into my code.
It would even be cool, like, if you went over there to the school and taught, like, a coding class or something. There's something you
Someone
could do.
keeps kicking me off of Zoom.
You have a meeting that is currently in progress. Is it you?
It's somebody else that has our account that's trying to use it at the same time I am. Well, I already let Garrett know if I was saying he was trying to get that I need to use it right now. I think that's already. It totally threw me off here. Yeah, so we're going to be doing Facebook ads and what that looks like when you run them through command. And a couple of examples of some of the things that you can do. Unless it's not right. That is not my password. This one is.
Is that a smartwatch? What is that? An iPhone watch?
Yeah, it's the iWatch. Don't save. Okay. So, the way that it works is, first step is we need to log into our Facebook or into our Facebook account. So if you don't have a Facebook account already, well, that obviously means you gotta create one, because otherwise we can't go anywhere without it. Now, after you do that, step 2 is going to be to create, or if you already have a Facebook business profile, that you can access that. And I won't go into too much detail, creating a Facebook profile page in this meeting, but it's fairly quick. It's fairly easy, and if you have one already, then great. The way it works is that from your Facebook account, you can go to the pages section here on the left, and then right from here, this screen right here will show you if you have any business pages already created. You'll see them here. If not, and this is completely blank, then you can go to this option right here to create a new page, and this will be a new business page under your Facebook account that you have already. The nice thing about this is that you don't have to.
You kicked off? You're good?
I'm good now.
You're good now? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The good thing about this is that it's connected to your account that you have already. You don't have to have another login or another account to manage your business page. It's all connected from here, and you can manage it from here, which is nice. Other than that, you can go to the create new page option right here, and it's going to take you through a couple of steps. Very, very simple to get this going. So it's a name, You give it a category, so you can search there and find real estate agent or real estate. And then here you can give it a description, about your business page and, what it does. And just to show you guys an example, this is one that I made not too long ago. This, where you can upload your picture to this, and there's a whole bunch of things that I gotta customize this on this, so such as my contact information, my email address, my location, so on and so forth. There's a lot more to this, as well as creating the and uploading a background graphic to this. You can do that as well. There's many different ways you could go about creating this, but ultimately you're going to want to have something on here. And this is going to benefit you in the long run, just because not only would you be able to now run the ads and connect them to this page, but you would also now have a business profile that you can post your own, make your own posts from this business page, and any other advertisements and things related to your business and real estate, you would be able to do it from here, as well as be able to invite all of the friends that you have from your personal account to come and follow your new business page. So then right away that gives you kind of some more eyes, some more people that would potentially be able to follow your page right away, because it gives you that option to just connect those over. All right, so then now we have our business page, and I have one here. The next step 3, is we're gonna log into our command account, and we're gonna connect these pages. So on this page here, I'm in command, and now I gotta go and connect my Facebook account and then my Facebook profile. The way you do that is you're gonna go to the top corner here where your name is. You're gonna scroll down, and we're gonna go to settings. Command has been a little special lately. Hold on. Oh, sure, it'll go to profile, but it won't go to my settings page. Okay, I think there it goes.
Where did you get your backgrounds? You just went on Google or somewhere? Those are super cool.
That background there, I think that came from, I think that was just already in
Already
there. Yeah, by default.
What about on your Facebook?
On Facebook, I used a program that I'm very familiar with, and I kind of just threw it together real quick. I used Photoshop for that,
okay.
but there's many other services, tools that you can kind of be able to do that with. Okay, so now finally in settings, and what we're looking for is this page right here, the first one that comes up. I've already gone ahead and connected my Facebook account to this, and this is how you can tell if you're connected already or not. You're gonna see this right here under the Facebook Ads Manager section, and it should show your name or the name of your account right in here. That tells me it's already connected.
When you go into this on your, like if I go into it on my command, are those things already there?
These sections?
Yeah.
Yes, this is already in here in the settings page.
So we went to settings and that's it?
Yeah, settings, and then just right on the first screen
Okay.
that comes up, it'll show you this page.
Okay.
To connect your account for the first time, you're gonna go to, there's gonna be a connect account button right here. And what that looks like, it'll bring up a page that looks like this,
Yeah.
and it'll ask you to connect your Facebook account from here. What that'll do is then it'll redirect you to Facebook, where you will log into your Facebook account at that point, or because like I'm already logged into it on this computer, it should recognize that. Sorry. and it should automatically redirect you to the connection screen.
So what's the difference between the Facebook and the Facebook ad?
So the Facebook ads is the specific connector to run the ads, and the other one, the other option here, the post scheduling. This is so that you can also use command to run posts, or not to run posts, but to allow you to create posts from within command that will link over to the business page.
Okay.
So instead of going from Facebook and making those posts, you can use command to do that, and it's got a few kind of like cool features that are unique to that connection from here. But what the one we're dealing with is going to be the ads manager section. So you're going to go through here. You're going to go through the connector that shows up on the next screen. That should redirect to Facebook, and you'll see you'll probably see an option that looks like this, where it'll ask you, you already logged in with Keller Williams with Facebook. Would you like to continue? You're going to say continue, and then from there, you're going to see probably another screen that'll come up, and it'll look like this. It'll redirect you to Facebook, and it'll ask you to accept the lead terms on the next screen, and it'll look like this. If you're looking at this, and like say if you have multiple business pages, like for other things that you may have them for, you're gonna have to click on the little list here, kind of where I'm putting my mouse.
To choose?
Kind of and choose the right account. So this is, I'm gonna choose my realtor account. As soon as I select that and then click accept, then you'll get the message saying lead ads terms have been accepted for this page. Now when you do that, then and we go back to Facebook, the Facebook screen, or sorry, not Facebook, but back to command. Now I should see when I click on this little drop down option right in here, that now I have the option to check the Mike Serrano Realtor page, or the ones you guys have. And then you want to check the box, or just make sure it's checked, and then click done. And then at the end of all that, you should see this. Facebook Ads Manager, your account down here, and then it'll say one connected account on this screen. And then that way we know that we've got Facebook connected, and then now we have our ads page, or our business page, connected to that as well. All right. So then now we can move on to, we connected the business page there. And then now we can actually move into some of the ads options. So I'm not a social media expert. I'll be the first to admit that. But I know this system enough to be able to get you guys running, and I know some, a little bit of, some tips that you guys can use as well when it comes to this. For the most part, a lot of the ads that I've seen and some that I've helped other agents work on before have been listing ads. So ads based off of listings that they, maybe they just took, like the brand new listing that they put on the market, or maybe a listing that they've had sitting for some time, and they want to create an ad around it to boost its exposure, to the world. There's just kind of some examples of that. Or if they, got permission from, the listing agent, to use that as, create an ad around it and then promote that as well. Because at the end of the day, the leads that you get from that, they'll come directly back to you in your command account. That's the whole goal of all this, and what it, makes it really nice that this is all connected. So as my first example for a listing style ad, first thing that I like to do is I like to create a landing page for that ad ahead of time. Now I gotta create that first because when I go and create the ad, I'm gonna wanna have that set up beforehand so I can just connect it.
So where did you just go to start
So.
creating your landing page?
Yeah, so here's, just waiting for this to load up here. Come on, man. What I'm looking for here is gonna be under the consumer section on the very bottom option on the left. Called consumer, I'm gonna click there. And if command plays nice, and I can get into that. There we go. Then on that consumer page, we're going to see a couple of things here. I'm going to go to the landing pages section. That's going to be the tab up here at the top called landing pages. When I click on that, it's going to show me a history of all the landing pages that I've created before and that I still have on here, and the links to each of those, and each one is different. But basically, I want to go and create a new page here on the top right corner of the screen. And the option that I'm looking for is going to be the second one, create a new page as a landing page. That's the option I'm looking for here. And then I just click on that, and then click on create page. And then that'll bring up a blank screen that looks just like this. And basically, all the tools and features that will go on this page are going to be over here on the right. We have a listing section, and in here they're called widgets, by the way. All of these little tools here. I'm looking for the listing widget. That's going to be the main one because that's going to be the one that creates that connects the listing to this page. And then we have a couple of other ones in here as well. So let's say that I'll start with the branded header, what that is. And all I got to do is click on the option, like I'm clicking and dragging the little option, and then I bring it over to the page and then just let it go. What that does is then it puts that widget onto the screen. And so what I did here was the branded header, and it's very simple. It's just got your name, your picture, if you have one, your phone number, and email address up in this corner. The next one I can do is going to be the listing one. I can, same step, I just click it and drag it over to the screen, and then you will see this green bar go across the screen. That indicates where it's going to drop this widget. In this case, I do want it to go right below my header. And all I do is I let it go once again, and then automatically it drops this whole thing
Where'd that listing come
into
from?
this page. So this is like kind of a default listing in here, just like a sample. Next, I'll get to actually connecting the listing that I want to use. So, you can see here, and this is what it creates by default. Here's the picture section, the specifications and details. It'll include more photos down here, other features at the bottom, and like kind of a map of where that, of where this listing is. This is just like a little message that comes up at the bottom telling you where the widgets are. I'm going to close that out. So now I have my listing section in here. And one last thing that I like to do is there's also an agent branding widget in here as well. I like to click and drag that and then put it at the bottom of the page as well. When it's at the bottom of the page, it's kind of a little hard to see where it puts that green line. But if I kind of move this down towards the bottom, typically it'll put it down there. So I kind of just drag it towards the bottom of the screen and then let it go, and then there it is. Then it puts the branding section here. And then for the most part, that's just like a really quick landing page that you can create. I always like to name it as well. Here in the top left corner of the screen, I would name it after the actual listing. So I can't think of one particularly at the moment, but if it was 123 Main Street, for example. That way I can just keep track of what, this listing is, this landing page and what listing it's for. The next thing from here is I gotta configure the widget. I gotta configure this listing one to connect to the one that I'm gonna be using. So I'm gonna click on configure widgets. And then it's gonna tell me here which of the current widgets that I put in, and I've only done 3 at this point, which ones of those are checked off. So I know that the top one is good. The branding one at the bottom with my information is good too. You can see the green check mark. The only one that's missing is gonna be the listing one, which is the one that we need to take care of. So I'm just gonna click on the section called listing. And then this next option will come up asking that no listing is selected and that I can browse for the listing. So then I'm going to click on browse. And then that's going to bring me to a search page on the next screen here where I can go ahead and search for my listing and connect it to this widget. So let's say that, and you can search by the property address here. If you're having trouble finding the listing that way with the address, you can always change the little drop down here on the side and select the MLS number instead. If maybe you have better luck finding your listing that way, directly with the MLS number.
Is this cool question?
Mhm.
Is this like say if you have like a house in Fresno or something? Is this statewide?
So this is actually
Just up here.
countrywide or statewide.
Okay.
Not statewide. Yeah, countrywide. That's what I mean. So it's all across the U.S.
Oh.
and actually opening up to the rest of the world at this point too, because I'm seeing here there's some listings coming up from
Everywhere.
somewhere in Europe. It
Oh,
seems
yeah.
that's it's a very European-looking name there, and also the price is in euros, so that kind of tells me that that's not around here.
So this is a worldwide database, evidently.
Yeah, as it's developing, this is the first time I'm actually seeing this. It's including some of this other stuff, which is really cool. That is opening up to the rest of the world. So let's say I search for my property and it was this one right here. All I do is I click select on the first screen. On this one here, it's going to ask me what primary photo I want to use, and so typically it's going to be the first one. So first one showing the front of the house, I will use that. And
Isn't that like a rule?
and then for the most part, yeah, it's like
I think.
it's
For
more
some
like a
reason, I
rule.
thought Marvin was talking about that.
Oh yeah, that one time.
Did you go to that class?
Mm-hmm. So typically, well, by default, it's going to select the first one. But if sometimes there's a couple different shots of the front, depending on which one you like to use, you can select it from here. And then all you got to do is click Save and Apply. What that then does is it connects that listing completely to the landing page here, and then basically it's ready to go. So all the photos,
And it fills in
details.
bedrooms, bathrooms, all that.
Mhm, beds and baths. Here's the photos. Here's some of the details and features. But basically, very very basic information, and very useful information when we get to setting up the ad. So then, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go straight from here and click and publish the page. And it's going to say, it's going to update the active page, and we're going to say updated. From there, it should bring me back to the original page. And if I click under the landing pages section, now I'll see a brand new landing page up here at the top with the name and then the link to that page. And and as a kind of a side note, I can click on the link that it shows me there, and it would take me directly to the live on the internet website for this landing
Will
page.
when you click publish page, does it go on your Facebook page?
No, it won't do that automatically. It'll just publish it there on the landing pages
Command.
screen. Mhm. However, now that you have an active page, you can totally now take this link that it gives you
Yeah.
and go ahead and like post that to Facebook separately, or put it on an email, or send it out as a text. Gives you different options like that. And no matter where that's seen and where it's clicked, it'll always go back to this page here, this live page. Now that you have this established. Okay, so then now that I have that created, I can actually now hop into creating my ad. So those ads and everything is managed from the campaign section. That's the one button here with the little speakerphone next to it. It's going to come up there. Now that we're in here, we can take care of a couple things. First thing you're probably going to want to do is make sure you have your payment options set up ahead of time, so that you're not having to set it up later once you're creating your ad. So the way you get into that is over here on the top right corner, next to the create campaign button, you're going to see payments. This payments section. You're going to click there. And then here, it gives you a couple things. First thing is going to show you the current card that you have connected to this. So in case that you ever have to either update this or remove it, or at least check which one you have, you'll see it here. And if not, you can click Add Payment Method right in here, and it's going to take you through the Add Card option on the next screen. So now you can fill that out and then put your payment option on file. So not only will this screen show you that, but it'll actually show you the spend metrics option down here, where it'll actually break down in detail how much money in total you've spent across running Facebook ads, those running towards Instagram, Twitter, and so on, and your total spend, your cost per lead, clicked, cost per click, and some other things here as well. You can see that from here. All right, so now I have my payment option set up, and now what I can do is, if I hop into the paid ads section here at the top, this will actually show me all of the ads that I've ever set up in the past in here, which is really nice. So you can either go from here, create a new campaign, or go off of one that you've already created before. So let me go ahead and create a campaign, a new one. And then I'm going to click the first option here, social ad paid. Now from there, it's going to ask me to enter a campaign name. So I'm going to call this one, this is 1234 Main Street. Just to keep track of what ad this one is. And then it's going to ask you here what your goal for this ad is. As I mentioned before, I want to create like a listing style ad. So I'm going to choose the option this is advertising a listing. Now from here, it's going to ask me where do I want my campaign to run. For today, I'm going to be choosing Facebook and Instagram. Because as I'll show you in a little bit, both of those options, or actually Facebook owns Instagram, and because of that, those two platforms are connected, meaning that it makes it easy to create one ad that runs through Facebook, and it automatically connects to Instagram as well. So, giving you that totally different option to display this ad. Otherwise, you can just pick and choose to, do one or the other, or both in this case. So I'm going to click Create Campaign. Now from here, one more time, it'll ask you here to select the property address because it's going to use that to connect the listing to the ad. By default, when you're on this screen or you get here, it's going to show only your listings. So, if it's your listing and you're creating this ad, well then great, you're going to find it on the screen. If not, if you're choosing another listing, you want to change this option to show all listings instead of only yours. That way, it opens up the screen here, and just like before when you're creating the landing page, it's going to show me all of the properties here, which I would go through and locate my property that I want to use. So I know this is not the same one that I clicked on the example before, but let's say that this was the ad. Sorry, this was the property that I was looking for. So I'm going to select that. And what that does is it kind of puts it together in the background. And now I'll see this screen right here. Now I'll see the connected listing right up here at the top. And it'll automatically include 2 lines of the property description from the MLS, or from the MLS entry that this came from. You'll see that in the main copy section. And then you'll actually see a preview of your ad over on the right side of the screen, which is really nice. So I see here, there's a picture of the listing, and then there's the line of text that it included as well, right off the bat. You want to keep in mind that you have a limited number of characters that you can put into the screen. That's 250 characters. So whatever you come up with that you put into this ad, it's got to fit within that limit. Because that way it has the best chance of showing all of the information that's going to be included with it. So not only do we see the ad copy, which is the top section, there will also be a headline section kind of right below where the picture is, and then a description right below that. So when it comes to the copy, the main ad copy, I would say you don't want to be too specific about the information you put on there, because the whole goal of this ad is that they, whoever it goes to on Facebook, or that it pops up on the Facebook or Instagram, that they are going to see that and they're going to want to click on it to find more information, to find out more. If you just go ahead and put everything on there, then that totally ruins the purpose of this ad. Then there's not going to be too much of a reason for them to want to click on that and find more information about this listing. So by default, since that was the information that it first gave out, I might want to cut back down on this. I might want to remove a little bit of what's on here and go with something a little bit less. Here's a great example of an ad that was recently ran by Leanna, one of our agents here. She gave me permission to show this to you guys. And I thought it was a pretty good ad because she actually got a good amount of leads from running it. Now if command, let's do, here we go, plain nice. Paid ad section. So here's one that she ran, and here's an example of what this looks like once it's been run and it's completed. It'll show you here, a little preview of the ad, status of whether it's active or completed, the duration, the time that you ran it for, and then ultimately what we're looking for is the number of leads that it generated, which, you get the option here. And the best way to see this is to see those leads. And by the way, on top of this, you'll also get emailed. You'll receive an email every time your ad receives a lead from this. So not only would you be able to go in here and see them in detail by clicking on the little lead section, and it'll show you there the names of all those people, the email addresses,
And their
phone numbers.
Already. Does this put it right in command for you from the
And-
Facebook?
Yeah, and this brings it directly into command into your contact section for you automatically,
Wow.
which is really nice.
Super nice.
As well as the specific date and time that they were captured and what channel they came from, either Facebook or Instagram. It'll detail that for you here. And so this gives you a complete breakdown of those leads that come through right from there. So main reason I wanted to show you guys is because she actually, I'd say, did, and the fact that she received so many leads. And by the way, when you're on the screen, you can click on where your name is here, right below where the ad name is. And this will give you actually a little preview of what that ad, after you created it, what that looked like. So you can see here, she did something super, super simple. Just Lake Los Angeles home for sale. Didn't have to be more, any more complicated than that. And of course, there's the listing. And then what she did too was, she included just, basic 3 bedrooms and 2 baths in the headline section. And then she included just a little bit more information in the description right below that. So, being that there's more text there, the person, might be more inclined to want to find out, actually learn more about what that is. There's more information there, sure, I want to find out more. The next step after someone clicking on that, Facebook is going to pop, there's going to be a screen that comes up, and I don't have an example of what that looks like, but there's going to be a screen that comes up first, and it's going to ask the person viewing this ad, do you want to submit your information to Facebook? They have to click yes on that, because for them to continue to the next part of the ad, and then for you as the agent to receive their information as a lead. So everybody clicking on that ad and that said yes would be part of this, the 29 leads, or however many leads that the ad generated right from here. You will also see this, 180 clicks. What that means is that the ad was clicked on and they said no, or they went to another screen, or just didn't want to continue further on that one screen, saying you want to submit your information. So we can see there that this got quite a bit of attention within the 5 days that she ran her ad. A bunch of, a few missed opportunities here, ones that didn't want to proceed further. But in the end, she did receive, I'd say a good amount of leads from the ones that wanted to continue further. So that's an example of what that looks like there. So it kind of leaves it totally open, from here, whether you want to be more detailed or not with your main copy, as well as your headline text. This could be, affordable, Lake LA home, if it fits. You also have a character limit here, and it's actually a lot shorter. This is only 25 characters, so you're going to want to play around with, what's going to work there and the character limit that you have. And then, of course, in the description, you can afford to be a little bit more detailed there if you like. Include more information in that section. And then same as well, you have 250 character limit there as well. And you're totally free to use emojis in here as well, things that might grab attention. You have this little button here in the corner of the section where it'll bring up the little emoji screen. And no, I'd say don't overload it. Don't go too crazy with with the emojis that you have there. But you can include some in there to kind of draw a little more attention to what you have as part of the ad. So I'm going to just go ahead and click save. Let's see here. And actually something here too is it's got a couple of suggestions built in. Like here, as an example, it says, you could be coming home to this. I could choose to use that suggestion or kind of shuffle through a few of these. View photos and videos of this home. That's actually a pretty good one. I can, apply that. And something, a good tip as well is if you can fit it in your main copy, I would include in there, click below, click learn more to view more information about the property, to view pictures, pricing, details. Just kind of putting it out there that if they clicked on this, there will be more. We're not just doing this to just take their information and not provide anything of value. We want to make it apparent that there's more that can come from this. So I'm going to click on save. The media section, this is kind of where you can play around with the picture that it displays here. The ad system here also allows you to upload a video instead if you like. You can choose from the two options here. You can't do pictures and video. It can only be one or the other. So if I did video, and I have to select the media here, it's gonna then show me a couple options. So it is fairly restricted with video. It has to be shorter than 120 seconds. So that's 2 minutes, and smaller than 250 megabytes as the size. And it can only be these two formats, either MP4 or an M4V video file. The nice thing is if you work with a photographer or a video person, if you're able to, they create a video for you, you can kind of give them these three requirements here, and they should be able to work around that. Cut down the video to within the time and file size limit and that format, and it should be able to give you something nice that you can just take and then upload straight into this section and use that as your as the media that you can upload here. Other than that, I can just stick to using the picture instead. And I can either keep just one or I can add more. The nice thing about this, because I connected the listing earlier, if I click add more,
Oh, it already has them.
it already has them in here, which is really nice. And there's a couple in here from that listing. So I can choose from the listing, and I guess there wasn't a whole lot of photos from this listing that I selected here. But if it was your own, or if you knew that listing, you would know kind of roughly how many pictures are in there and which ones you could use. Same thing, kind of like with the ad copy, I wouldn't include all the photos. I would include probably a maximum of 3 is recommended. So like, the front of the home, of course, but maybe if it had like a really nice backyard or a pool or something, I would choose the pool picture because, showing that it's got a pool or anything else. That way I can use that as my second photo. This might come up here where it shows you to, want to crop the image. This is just so that it fits best as part of the ad here. So here it just gives me the kind of like the crop window here. I'm going to click save, and kind of that way. Actually, let me undo that. just because it undid the first picture. So let me do the second picture. And instead here of doing the square option, best for most placements, I want to do the wide. That way it doesn't mess with my first picture. So we do wide, save. Well, it still ended up kind of messing with it there. But other than that, you know, you can kind of see here in a way that it'll kind of update the picture. In this case, because it's really messing with the first one, I'll probably won't include a second picture to this. So sometimes it might take a little playing around with the cropping and which photos you connect in there to get it to work. From there, I'm going to click Save on the media section. And then now we move to the Facebook and Instagram settings. So this is where it's going to ask us to connect the business page to run the ad from, or they run the ad to. So main thing, it's going to ask, you know, what account you want to use. So, you know, this is my one account. And then here on the page section is, you know, going way back to the beginning when I connected my business profile. This is where it should then come up, right in here. And then all I do is I select it. And then just keep an eye out if it asks you for anything else at this point. Because I have seen before where if you don't accept the terms at the very beginning when you connect your account, it might come up when you're trying to connect it here on this screen. So kind of you keep that in mind. Other than that, it should just go directly, it should just connect directly just like this, where I just selected it from the list. Then it'll ask you, okay, if you're using Instagram as the option, where do you want to position the ad? Either in the feed or to the story. I've always done feed. The feed means just like when you're on Instagram and you're just seeing things just on the screen there. That's the feed. Story is going to be the story section, specifically kind of, you know, the top of the page. It'll go in there instead. And it's only one or the other. It won't do both. The next thing is the destination. It's really recommended that you use the Facebook lead generation form, because that's what I was referring to when they click on the ad and it asks to submit their information to Facebook. That's the lead generation form from Facebook. That's this option. If you did the other one for site or landing page, what that is it would rely on the page that this goes to specifically to capture the information. And sometimes that's going to be a lot harder to do, because now it's up to the page, in this case our landing page, to try to capture that information instead. So I think it's better to do the Facebook one, because that's more upfront. That's right away, you know, hey, you want to see more of this ad, you gotta send us your info, instead of the second one. Here's the button label. So it's only 3 options, and that's referring to the one here on the ad. In this case, it's learn more. You have sign up or apply now as 2 other options. I think learn more is the one that'll work the best. And then here is where you can either link your landing page, like the one we just created, or if you have a link to go to somewhere else totally different, you could use that instead. So if you have a link going to like another capture page, or somewhere else where it's gonna just give, you know, information, you can put that in here instead. Otherwise, I'm gonna choose my landing page, and then because I created it beforehand, I should be able to see it here on the list, where I can just click on it. You know, it'll kind of do this little verification here, and then it'll check it. So it'll say, yes, good to go, right here. So that's my landing page. Following the landing page, you're gonna get to the audience section. So here's something where it's kind of, where you have a few options. You can either do the auto audience option, where Facebook will automatically choose the best audience for your ad, and it is recommended. That means that based on the ad and the wording that's in it, and the location that Facebook and their, their magic algorithms or whatever they have going on is going to attempt to send this ad to, to those types of people, or the ones that it thinks that it would fit best.
And that's
So you
probably
have,
what Leanne did. What was that her name?
Oh, Leanna?
Leanne?
I was looking into her ad a little bit. She actually did a custom audience for that.
Oh, so with her own,
Yeah, so auto audience, probably the easiest one, and it'll base it off of the
where we live?
or the location of
The
the house of the listing. In this case, this one that I selected here as the example is in Illinois somewhere. So that's what it did that. However, I don't have to necessarily use that. I could totally, remove that and then choose something else.
Okay.
So like, for example, if there was, and this would be good for like more like an upscale, like luxury type listing. Let's say out here in the AV, if there was, that was something that you were advertising, you might want to advertise that somewhere else, like in LA or like the Beverly Hills area over there, where we might expect that type of clientele to already be, that would have, the funds to probably afford something like that, rather than out here. I think your audience, your reach, and just the demographic in general is, probably not gonna really work for that type of listing. So I could do that instead, type it out here, Los Angeles, and then it'll kind of come through, and I can select that instead here. So now this will specifically target in the automatic audience here, people in LA. And then I can set a radius here, so how many miles outside of LA or outside of the city that the targeting would focus to. The minimum is 15 miles. That's the smallest that this is able to do. And the max, I believe, is still 50. So 50 miles is the max. And as you adjust these settings, if I kind of scroll up here on the right, it'll give you a potential reach of roughly how many people this can hit. So that says 8.2 million people. I think it's actually probably more than that, being that this is LA. If I bring this back down to 20,
Yeah.
you can see there it kind of it adjusted it there as part of the auto audience. If I switch this to custom audience, the second tab, it's going to ask me here if I want to target my database specifically. What that means is the contacts you have saved in command, or to target a custom audience. Custom audience, and again, it'll be in the originating city, the radius. But then now I get the section down here for detailed targeting, where I can include and exclude people with certain interests. And then now I can go through the add interest option, and in here it's going to bring up a huge list of interests. So this would be probably more in line with some very specific listings and options out there, because it's literally going to say, target people that showed interest in accounting. And I can pick and choose these here down the list, there it goes. Or those that showed interest in acting, and of course that's those interests both in Facebook and Instagram. If it's able to match those, then it would target this ad to those categories or to those interests. And there's all kinds of stuff here. It's a pretty massive list, and an estimated audience for each of those interests. So you can see here, like apartment, that's a big one, and so on. There's a ton here that you can select from. So you can do that, where you can do a custom audience, or you can just totally leave it up to Facebook and let it, figure it out on its own. So you can do that there. That's the audience section. and I'll kind of move on a little bit more quickly here. So lead settings, we do have to set this up. So what do you want to happen to the leads that come from this campaign? What I always like to do is I want to auto tag them. That way I'm able to keep track of when I see these contacts in my contacts list, where exactly they came from. So I can say here, I want to auto tag them as a lead. And then, and these are tags that I have in my specific account already. If you go in here and you type lead and thus the tag doesn't exist in there, this screen will let you create that create that tag. So like this, where if I don't have the tag already created, I can click create tag and I can use that from here. So because I just want to use lead, I have a Facebook lead or included in here already, and I can do more than one if I like. However many that I want to use, however detailed I want to be, I can use it for that. That means that any leads coming in that not only go into my contacts are going to have these two tags applied to them. These two tags, or even more than that, depending on what I set. And this even will allow me to assign these contacts automatically to a smart plan if I want to go that one step further. If I have a smart plan already created to automatically enroll these contacts to, it leaves me that option as well. And then the very last thing is going to be the duration and budget. So how long you want the ad to run and the total budget that you want to spend towards this ad. In Leanna's example, she did a 5-day duration with a $50 budget. And what that does is, if I set my budget to the 50, kind of match it to what she may have done. If I did this to be 5 days, based off of my budget and my duration, it's going to tell me that per channel, both that being Facebook and Instagram, that it's able to spend a total of $5 per day.
Oh, so since we clicked the Instagram and Facebook in the very beginning, that's where it's going to go?
Yeah, because if I only done one, if I just did Facebook, for example, then it would be just one channel.
Okay.
And then this would make it $10 per day that it's able to spend. And basically, the bigger the budget that you can do, the more total leads that it can that the ad can capture. So if it's a very, let's say it's a very successful ad that you created, but your budget isn't too long, it's going to max out. It's going to max out probably fairly quickly. So if it was like, $30, for example, then it's great. You're gonna reach your limit from there. But if not, if you're able to afford a little bit more or spend more towards this ad, it's gonna have more budget to work with, more clicks that it's able to accept, more leads that it's therefore able to capture. And so we can set that here and click save. And then really the last thing here is going to be to publish the campaign. If you did that, it's going to ask you one last time to, for the payment information, just to confirm that. And then once you click on publish again, then it'll bring you out to the main screen. My mouse froze. Oh, there it is. I'm just going to kind of leave this here. It's going to bring you back out to the main screen here, where it'll say that your ad is in review. So Facebook does have to review this ad before it hits or before it goes out. So you're going to see that first. And it actually, the day that you create this ad, so today, it won't go out today. It'll actually start the next day, tomorrow. So you want to, keep that in mind. If you have something really quick that you want to get out there right away, that factor that in. There's going to be one extra day because it has to get reviewed. And then with that, if you have that in consideration, you can do things like this. If you create an ad for an open house or for some other type of event, your open house event is going to have you're going to have a time and a date for that, very specific. So if you create an ad for that,
Oh, yeah.
which you
Do it the
totally
day
can,
before, or a few days
you're going to
before.
want to make sure your timing is lines up with that. So, however much time you want it to run for, so like a week. So a week in advance of your open house or event, you're going to want to make sure that it runs with that, and too early or too late, because now
You have to really time it.
you're going past that. So as an example, this is one that I helped with some time ago, where it was an open house that they wanted to promote, and the timing came down to like 5 days before when I was able to run the ad and create it, and then by the time it went out, and that captured some leads. And then another example here for like a home value or like more for sellers, you could totally create an ad for that. That does require a bit more work because then you really got to think of the landing page that this goes to. It's got to be something where it's going to be able to capture their information so that, like their name, their street address, or for their, what their home is, and, a way for that to get back to you. Ultimately, then you can then take that information and then, run a CMA or, comparables of their home, and then be able to reach back out to them, hey, got your information from this ad, I ran from, a few days ago, based off of the information you gave me, here's what your home's worth, do you want to continue from here? So it's pretty open-ended, and what you can do with these ads, it's totally up to you. The most common approach, again, is for listings. That's one I see a lot. Probably more of the easier ones to just set up because it's a listing, put the information out there, hit send, and it goes out and doesn't stay. On that note, KW Your Way, that's a service company that runs out of this office, actually by JD and his team that he has. They help a lot with running ads, creating landing pages, creating flyers, and more. If you have need help with this type of stuff, or you just want to just leverage it, or know somebody else in this office that just wants to have somebody do it for them, they can do that for you. They have pricing for that as well on their website, and you can contact them there for more information, what else they're able to do for you. Other than that, if you guys have any questions on any of this afterwards, let me know. I'm always here. You can either call or email me. Just let me know what's going on.
Thank you, Mike.
That's pretty much it.
That was helpful.
Thank you, guys.
Super helpful.